Hi, everyone. I'm Logan Baldwin. I'm the executive director of Klamath Film. With me, I have Mariel Eve Bennett, writer and director of Dolly's Room. Why don't you give us a little bit about your filmmaking background?
Well, I primarily work in the music industry as a creative director, so I've done a lot of music videos. This is my first film. I've always wanted to do films, and then I just this is my first one, and it's my producer's first time producing it, so it was just like a really nice first time experience, I guess.
Totally, totally. I wouldn't have guessed that it was your first. I guess it's your first narrative and not your first video because you did music videos, and I can sort of see
Hmm.
like the lighting and the framing, and especially
Yeah.
like the set deck and costumes and everything. I thought that all of those were really, really on point. So I can sort of see maybe coming from
Yeah.
a music video background. Totally.
Yeah.
Um, so how important was it for you to tell this story specifically?
Um, it's something that within my own family life has been, I guess, like ignored or not. I haven't gotten the support that I've needed. So for me to make the film and then show it to people and get their support or be like, yeah, this really helped me, or, I've experienced something very similar. It made me feel like my story was valuable. And I just hope that someone will see it and be like, okay, maybe I could tell my story too. Because even if you aren't initially met with like the reaction that you wanted, there is like a whole world of people out there who are willing to support you and who want to support you. So it's just been a really great way to connect with other people and find that support system and support for myself, honestly.
Right, right. How how did translating this experience into a film help you navigate the emotions associated with it?
Yeah, so that scene where Dolly's passed out, that was really helpful for me to like watch that and like figure out, what happened to me because the mystery of it was something that really like got to me at night. Just like think about it, like what happened, and also like it happened like 10 years ago to me. So there's always like the constant feelings of doubt and like the way that the people involved in the situation were like, no, that it didn't happen like that, made me like doubt it. So for like putting it into a film, being like, no, like this is what happened. It did like it allowed me to, I guess, get over it in a way, not get over it, but heal in a way that I didn't expect to. And then while we were filming it, there were parts of it that surprised me to be like during the assault scene and stuff like that wasn't hard for me at all. It was like the very last scene, like I started crying and like the actor started crying and we were just like, so it was like a really intense scene that's supposed to symbolize how my parents and family have reacted, just like pretending it didn't. So I feel like it showed me like, oh yeah, that's really still where it hurts. So it helped me and yeah, it kind of came out like that.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. The how do I say this? Would you say that um, making it into this film maybe sort of put some finality onto it, or maybe some closure to it after after struggling with the mystery of it? You mentioned now this is how it happened. This is exactly how it happened.
Yeah, I would say for sure, especially with talking about it with my family. Like I feel like they saw it. I know this is a lot about my family, but just like that not receiving the reaction and support from other people, I think can be so damaging because it's like you're hurt all over again, but from the people who are supposed to love you. So they kind of understood it and everybody in my life was just like, oh, okay, like that was really like that helped us to see. And again, like their reactions of understanding it kind of wrapped up a big part of it for me. Um, like with the crying while filming the last scene, just like not feeling seen. So yeah, it definitely helped me feel recognized, and it kind of opened up a conversation with my family about like, okay, how can we support you? Because unfortunately, like the Alexa character is still in my life, um, very presently. So yeah, it's definitely helped with them and, created a safer environment for me.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that it has created a safer environment. Um,
Yeah.
that's great. Um, I I thought that the performances were really, really exceptional. Would you want to talk about the casting process and what qualities you were looking for in the actors to ensure that they could authentically portray the dynamics in the story?
So I spent like, I guess all of May of last year going through a bunch of, people wanting to be in the film. And I just like went through everybody personally. And the girl who plays Sephi, I like secured her first. I don't know if that's the right word. I cast her first is the right word. And she was just like she's so bubbly and kind and just such a talented actress. And so I knew she'd be like she'd work well with anybody. And then with the other two girls, Tara and Zoe, I just like had a really good rapport with both of them. I feel like the girl who plays Dolly is like very like her and I have like this really strong connection. And then with Zoe, I have like this other sort of connection. And like they're both just so talented and they could just really work. They all got along so well. Where I did have trouble was casting the male role, the role of Cole, because guys were like, "Oh, I promise I would never do a role like that." And so we like went through nine different people that we thought we had, and then they were like, "Oh, sorry, like, I just realized what this is about. Like, I won't do that." So that was like really terrifying. Luckily, Malachi, who plays Cole, pulled through at the end, but that was like the part where I was like, "Oh my God, is this going to get done or not?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think Malachi did a great job too. I think he really scored with honestly everybody. I think everybody was great. So
Yeah, they were all
I just
really.
don't know. That's interesting. That how how do you present the role to the other male actors and how did they get so far without
I don't know. Like I don't know if they read the script in full, like on because once we like went through the backstage people who applied, all of them were like, no, no, thank you. And then we started going to like, like an agency or just people, anybody we could find in the area. And I don't know why they seem to not know until after, because like then they'd be like, oh, I finally finished reading it, like I can't do this. And we're like, oh no. And it's like now we have to start back. And really Malachi came in at the very last minute because we were trying to figure out how to do it without the male character. And I just don't know if it would have been the same.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah you're right I don't think it would have been the same. I'm glad it worked out the way that it did. um yeah, it's just so interesting. I understand turning it down for those reasons, but like to get so far,
Yeah.
like I mean, what was it? A 15-page script, you
I
know?
know. I was like, it's not that complicated.
I don't know. I don't know how you get that far. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad it ended up the way that it did. I really, really like it. And I like the way that you shot it too, because you didn't really show a lot of his face, you know.
Hmm.
It's a lot of over the shoulder shots and cutting black and all this sort of stuff. So I think I think it was also like really tastefully put together, that whole scene, because
Yeah.
there's really only one thing that really makes me anxious in movies. Like I'm okay with gore and killing, but there's one thing that makes me anxious, and that did not trigger me at all in this. So
Yeah. We did not want anything because I don't like feel like it's necessary all the time in films. I feel like it's like nudity and like I don't know if it goes too far, I'm just like, oh, this is like, who is this fun for? It's not fun for me. So I was adamant, and then my producer Cassie was adamant. We're like, we do not want this to be anything. Like, we don't want it to be sexualized because I feel like a lot of times things that cover assault will like lean into like the sexualization of it. And I'm like, this really isn't like supposed to be sexy. It's just supposed to be like, it's not supposed to, I don't know, it's not sexy, it's terrifying.
Mm.
And then the intimacy coordinator, I just want to give a shout out to intimacy coordinators because they're so important. And she just really made sure that everybody felt safe and not pressured to do anything. Because that was the other thing. I didn't want anybody to feel pressured to do anything because if people were not having fun, it wasn't going to be fun. And despite like the content of the film, like we all had so much fun filming it. So that was good. Nice, safe, not sexual, anything. So yeah.
Yeah, totally, totally. Um, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced during production, aside from, that casting uh issue?
Um, During production, well, we didn't like have that many issues because I don't know, everything just kind of fell into place really weirdly. Like I did the costumes and the sets, and then like my producer had the location, like her family owned it, and her mom was like training to be an intimacy coordinator. So that worked out because we were originally going to use somebody else and then we couldn't. And we weren't going to make the film without the intimacy coordinator just because that feels wrong.
Absolutely.
Or just feels, I don't know, people, I feel like it's really important. So that was the intimacy coordinator was one, but really everything just kind of fell into place
Yeah.
strangely. Yeah.
Would you mind talking about the role of an intimacy coordinator on set? Like, like, I guess I can sort of draw conclusions to what they do, but like, what specifically is that like?
So at the beginning of filming, she gave each actor a what's it called? Like a form to fill out about things that they were and weren't comfortable with. And then going into it, like we had that information. And before each take, we'd be like, okay, this is the start of this. Like actors like get into like this is the start. And then after saying cut, she'd be like, okay, mark the end of the scene because I feel like by putting it off in like a small box of time, like it won't carry out. And I feel like in those like moments of things being carried out was where like things could happen or like people could be forced to do uncomfortable things. So it was very much like, this is how we're doing this. Um, she could talk to the actors and be like, are you comfortable? Because like I can ask somebody like, are you comfortable? But they might like want to just say, yeah, no, I'm fine. But she like served as somebody who could be like, no, but are you actually comfortable? Like, are you okay with this? And that was just so helpful for me and everyone, I think, to just make it like, you know, like a step back. We were all kind of a step away from what was happening, actually.
Hmm,
Made it more professional for sure.
totally.
And again, she's just like made sure, like even shots that weren't um of any sort of like intimate nature, they like she was there making sure like you couldn't see up anyone's skirt or like just like doing stuff like that I really didn't want. So she would like go through and like look through each shot and be like, okay, like, like I said, I really didn't want this to be sexual at all. So it was great to have her there to be like, wait, okay, let's do that because maybe that will look weird on camera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, totally. So, what's next for you as a filmmaker?
I'm working on some shorts. Um, and I've actually been working on a book. So
No way.
Um, yeah, it's kind of covers some similar stuff, but yeah, as a filmmaker, I guess there's some shorts that I'm in the middle of writing or the final stages of finishing. So hopefully that'll be done soon.
Totally. Okay. Well, I hope to see you in the film festival again with those shorts. I have one final question for you. I try to lighten it up a little bit before we.
Okay.
Um, I feel like this is probably the most important question for me to ask you. In your director's biography on Film Freeway, you listed a random fun fact. When you were 3, you secretly hid a banana behind the couch to watch it decay.
Yeah.
Question is, what's your deal? Huh? Explain.
Um, I don't know. I just like was like, okay, I just like wanted to see it turn black. I was like, I don't know. I it's just something that it was like a little me thing, like a little science experiment. But no one ever found it. Like I watched it go from the spots. Maybe I was like understanding death or I don't know. Kids are weird. But like the fact that I remember watching this banana like so like intensely and like secretly, like I hid it in the sun too because I noticed that like the banana decayed faster in the sun.
Uh,
Yeah, that's like a weird, it's a weird fun fact.
it is,
Do you have a fun fact?
it is very weird and a little bit fun for sure.
Yeah.
You, it's weird that you have a lot of memories about it too. I'd love to think that you were trying to understand death, but you were 3, so I kind of doubt it. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah. I
was
don't know. I feel
it on carpet? Was it on hardwood?
no, it was on wood. It was on wood. I also won an award in preschool for being the most hygienic. So I would never have let that happen.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah.
I would never let it make a mess. No, no, no. Yeah.
Do you know how long it stayed there?
It has, I don't know, probably 2 weeks, but I was like talking to my parents about it and they don't remember it. So who knows? It could have been longer.
So did
It could
you?
have been
They didn't find it or anything?
not in my memory. I'm sure someone found it and they were like, what is this? But I don't know. I'm glad I don't remember what happened after, because I just remember watching it be black for a few days and being like, interesting.
Yeah, cool. Let me write
Yeah.
it down. Yeah,
Yeah. I can't write yet, but
totally
yeah.
interested in understanding death for sure.
Yes.
And so you didn't get in trouble or anything either?
No, that I feel like you can't get someone in trouble for that. But
No,
for being curious, I mean, you shouldn't. I feel like it was science.
a mess. You made a mess, and that was
You know what? It was a good experience for me. We're talking about it now. It's important. It's important to have these conversations
it
with
is
yourself.
really important.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad I asked you about it. I have. Well, do you have?
Wait, do you have a fun fact?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I got you know stuffed a button up my nose when I was about that age. Does that count?
Whoa. Yeah, that definitely counts.
Yeah, like a shirt button. I don't. That's just the
Did
first.
you get in trouble?
No, somebody probably had to get it out of me, but
Yeah.
um, I don't. That's not something that I remember either. That's just something that I've been told.
I know it's usually just like, oh, okay, you don't remember it
Yeah.
happening. Fair enough.
Um. Yeah.
No, like decaying anything. You didn't hide anything.
No. No. No, maybe I won't tell that story. Um.
What? Well, now I have to know.
I'll
You
tell
can
you.
tell me
I'll tell
after
you
too.
off. I'll tell you off camera. All right. Well. Do you have any final words before we sign off here?
Um, I just that I had such a great team that I worked with. Guy Taylor, I'm sure he's been in this festival of Pop Motion Pictures. He's amazing. He was our director of photography, and then Cassie of Good Girl, Bad Girl Studios. She was amazing. Everybody was just so talented, and it was just great to work with everybody. So, and thank you everybody for watching
I love it.
and including me. Thank you for including me.
Yes, of course. I'm so glad you submitted it. I can't wait to have you in future film festivals here. Um,
Yes.
Thank you for submitting to your film to the Klamath Independent Film Festival. And Dolly's Room will be available on Eventive for a limited time as part of our online showcase.